This is how you start the show. This is how you start the show.
So, we've been talking for about 11 minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, well. Life goes on. So we've been rattling. We've both been going. It's been one of those days. Here's the reason why it's been one of those days for me. I'm getting ready for this. DevOps World.
Yeah.
And I got the countdown going, forgot to press go live. This isn't the first time I've done that. I hope it's the last for a while. Hi, okay, everyone. Karen, ZW, we said there. Arnold and Roberto.
Hello, everybody.
This is one of the... Jeez. So what you didn't hear, as you saw me hanging my head low, was Victor's like, about 2 minutes ago, are we live? Okay.
Hey, but at least we rehearsed half of the show.
We did. Yes, we did. Hi, I'm Darren. This over here is Victor. We do a podcast called DevOps Paradox. I don't know how to push buttons. And Fridays we do the show. We took last Friday off. Okay. Anything else we need to talk about on that?
That's it.
Hey, ZW, thanks for joining us live.
Hey.
That's we appreciate that. You showed up on a day that I completely flubbed everything.
And by the way, it's not AMA. It's like news of the week. 2 weeks in this case.
Yeah, for the AMA, that'll be over on Victor's channel next Thursday. It's already scheduled, already ready to go at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, whatever the time is for you, time shifted. We're also getting close to the time to where times start changing again. That's at the end of October. Okay, let's go ahead and go back through stuff. So since we do the podcast and since we skipped last Friday's show, there have been 2 episodes that come out, both around low code. One was with Alan Jackson from Asterisk Security talking about, hey, we're passing out our keys to everybody. And those people that created those keys have left the company, and those keys were associated with the people. Now things start breaking, or they're just left behind and they're orphaned. Bad things. Bad things. And
the question I forgot to ask him is kind of how much time on average does it take until you get the keys to the kingdom when you join a company? Just to figure out whether that could be a business kind of, join for 3 months.
Yep.
Leave.
And leave month. Because they're not going to rotate.
Exactly.
Karen says, better realize 10 minutes later than 60. Yeah, I thank you.
I'm not sure. Because I think that I would have even better laugh if we realized it at the very end. That would be probably another half an hour of not being able to stop laughing.
So normally what I do is I monitor it on my phone, but I've got my phone set up as a tether in case I lose my primary internet. And I didn't look down. So I've just got to work out my new workflow. It's just all it is.
No, you just need to... your curiosity needs to get the best of you and check how many people are watching. And then you don't see the number, you know you're not live. I think that he froze out of fear or shame.
No, I'm back.
You're back. Okay, there we go.
So I evidently just failed over. It's one of those days. You know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
I could rattle off some REM lyrics. This is the end of the world as we know it, but I feel fine. But that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't need a copyright claim against the video. It's funny though. This episode, even though it's titled around low code and no code, it's not just low code and no code. Think about where you're trading keys and secrets in apps, right? That's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, they might be focused as a solution to low-code,
Yeah.
no-code, but it's equally valid anywhere.
Yeah. And also, sort of in the same vein, we were applying things to low-code and no-code. Salto, we talked to Gil Hoffer from Salto, and what they do is they have basically the Terraform for your Salesforce and Jira and Stripe configurations. The one that scares the snot out of me on that one is Salesforce. Because he says it's not abnormal to see 2 and 3 gig sized configurations for Salesforce. And they wrote their own they wrote their own language based on HCL. They call it NaCl, which is also the chemical short name for salt. Salto, salt. Okay. But still, and he talks. It gets towards the end. I was re-listening to it this morning. They had to do some really interesting file caching and indexing in order to be able to do diffs on a 2 and 3 gig file. I thought it was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Okay. Quickly here, I think this is when we came back in. Jenkins is turning 18. Jenkins, as of when it started, was initially known as Hudson back in 2004. And it's now 18 years old. Only 2 more years till it hits 20. And as Victor said, 3 years till it's legal to drink. So it's still a joy, joy, happy, happy place. Okay. Now I think we're caught up, other than me getting to... Maybe it was this. Was this where we remembered that we weren't live? Yes.
After
I think
that,
so.
Or in the middle of that. Yeah.
Oh, in middle
We
of
didn't go to the
Hacktoberfest.
next one. Yeah.
So if you're using Google Cloud Run, or if you've never used Google Cloud Run, there's now official Terraform examples. The 2 I like out of this are PubSub and rollbacks and rollouts.
Very cool.
I mean, the other things, they're interesting, but those 2 to me, as a application developer, are the ones that I want. What's up, Maz? Hey, Roberto, thanks for the 50. Didn't know if the DevOps would like to go next time. Sure, it was great. About low-code, it should only be, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I understood. Should the low-code, no-code be used only by good coders? If that's the case, then not likely, independently of whether it's good or not.
Correct. Okay. We were talking about Hacktoberfest coming up in October. The registration site just has not gone live yet. Registration opens on scrolling, September 26th. Jenkins community, again, is participating. Lots of other projects will participate. Typically what you'll look for on, especially GitHub, is you'll see labels of Hacktoberfest. And again, the rules will be posted once you register. But that's what it's been in the past.
It's probably one of the most significant events for open source, even though it doesn't look like that, because too much attention gets into the negative parts of it.
Yep. Always a great time of year, Hacktoberfest. In past years, you either got a shirt or you could plant a tree. Or I think last year with the tree, last year was the first year for the tree.
The only change that I would make is that you get a shirt by registering, not by creating a PR.
No, you don't get the shirt until they validated that you had 3 PRs in the month.
Yeah, but I would give a shirt by registering. Because probably the potentially biggest downside is people creating PRs and hoping that to get the shirt, with additional
The garbage
comma.
PRs, yeah.
Yeah. And, and I think that's outweighed by the good that this makes. Even people who create a pull request just for the sake of getting a shirt still kind of like are entering into that sphere. Oh, this is how open source work, even if that's not the intention. But still, give a shirt for registrations.
And yes, you can participate outside the U.S. This is worldwide.
Yeah.
It's
anyway.
like within my company, we run our own internal Hacktoberfest as well. Just working on our internal of course, everybody contributes to the outside, but even on internally, we're we have planned events around Hacktoberfest the whole month. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, one more programmer thing. I never knew about this until I saw this on Reddit. This was a safe place on Reddit. I couldn't believe it. Programmer's Day. Have you ever heard of Programmer's Day?
No? What is it?
Celebrating the 256th day of the year. Right, 256? Okay. I don't, again, maybe I had never heard of it before. They said usually it happens on September 13th. Right, 256. Except on leap years. And then it's like, are you planning on celebrate or are you going to spend the day as usual? And it's just doing things. It's like Programmer's Day. Is it like Assistant's Day? Or is it like a Dentist Day? Or I don't know.
I never heard about it, which is...
I haven't either.
I'm disappointed in myself. But if there's anything you should do to celebrate that day is prepare for Hacktoberfest.
Oh, that's a good one.
Register. Is it actually the same? No, it's actually
it's
a few
early.
days before the registration. Anyway, read the instructions for Hacktoberfest and then register 13 days later.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, I haven't looked to see if there's any extra. Yeah, no comments. And I'm not going to look at it. So anyway, Programmer's Day. Who knew?
There we go.
Learned something new today. Speaking of learning something new, I saw this come through yesterday. Ambient mesh, and I was like scratching my head going, what is this? Now you read this, right?
Yeah, it's very cool and strange at the same time. It's very cool because, hey, if you can accomplish the effect of service mesh without attaching a sidecar container to every single pod, then that's good. There are potential performance gains in debugging, instead of looking all around and stuff like that. So it's very cool. Now, what is kind of surprising is that this is not one of the eBPF initiatives. I would have expected actually that that's eBPF. It's not, as far as I know, or it's hidden. Not that it must be, but kind of, everybody's trying now to do the same thing and many, many other things with eBPF.
I don't know that would make sense to do eBPF here.
Isn't Cilium eBPF?
Yes.
Networking?
Yeah, maybe. Possibly. Jivan, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out today. So anyway, it's like basically without sidecars, right? A new data plane mode for without sidecars. It's like, okay. So anyway, that's announced, but it's not expected to... Where was it? I thought I'd seen it. Get involved. Released an early version in Istio, active development, production readiness 2023. So cool. As crazy as it's been to use Istio, does this get Istio closer to Linkerd at that point from a usability standpoint if you had to roll the dice?
No, I mean, Linkerd is also sidecar container based.
Oh, that's right.
Unless it changed since the last time I went through it. So it will get closer to Cilium in a way.
Okay.
Now, which is a bit strange because actually you can run Cilium and Istio at the same time. But yeah.
Right. So looking at Karen's question, I wonder if the ambient mesh containers, which run as daemon sets, will create a bottleneck.
I think it's going to be the other way around, actually. Networking itself is usually a bottleneck,
yeah.
How much traffic you can pipe through a network, right, into a node from the node. And this will just make the computation of where the network should packet should be sent actually faster.
Okay. So that's ambient mesh from Istio. And that's the other thing I looked at too was Google and Solo.io. And those are the two primary people working, which sort of makes sense, right? Because Solo's got a commercial offering around Istio.
Exactly.
And Google is Istio. right?
Soon or already for a while now, not officially anymore, I think. I'm not sure what's the status, whether it was accepted in CNCF, so officially not, but still the major maintainer.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing that was sort of interesting was Amazon, AWS, open sourced EventBridge this week. And go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, this is interesting because now we've got another event player out in the world that is high traffic, high volume, knows how to do that really well.
Yeah.
And of course,
with AWS open sourcing stuff, my first thing that comes to my mind, and I might be completely wrong. Okay, is this yet another open source project that will work only in AWS? But I mean only in AWS. I don't mean
Carpenter.
practically, but kind of Carpenter. In theory, it's not only AWS, but in practice it is. So if it's not, then very cool. I mean, I would really actually like. I sound sinister when I speak about open source in conjunction with AWS, but I want AWS open source to grow. So,
yeah,
hoping.
Again, I think this one, as compared to Carpenter, I think this one is standalone, like legit standalone. It's Apache 2.0, which is good. I think it's interesting. That's all I'll say at this point.
Yeah.
So, AWS, keep bringing on more open source. We like it.
Nice.
We like it. And then, and Jivan says, and then we'll have a managed event bridge service in November at a reInvent, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure, I did not read that article, but I'm pretty sure that they open source. It sounds like that they open source something that already existed.
Well, yeah. I mean, Event Bridge has been around forever.
Yeah.
So, forever, 3 years. So, but now it's the key technology that powers Event Bridge is Event Ruler. Okay. You can match any number of rules against events at several 100,000 events per second. That's measurable, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what we want. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was called, CloudWatch events in the past. Correct. Okay, so a handful of tools today. So sorry that we forgot to press the button. There's no we in this. I forgot to press the button.
I mean, me as well. I could have pressed it. I have permissions to do it.
Yeah. But it's still better to call me out, right? SOCI Snapshotter. I saw this morning reading through some notes. What is this about? It's a Containerd Snapshotter plugin. Blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Standard method for launching containers starts with setup phase, which the container image data is completely downloaded from a registry and file system is assembled, right? Get the image hydrated. But if you have a big image, meaning more than a few hundred meg, that could take time. Application is not launched until the process is complete. But now, what they found is, on average, only 6% is needed.
Okay, so this starts running it before it's fully downloaded.
Yep.
Is that something like that? Nice.
Correct. Now, this is a brand new-ish, within the past month, project from AWS Labs. Again, sort of have to be careful with AWS Labs, not careful in a scary way, but just careful because it's labs, right? It's anytime you see labs, you should always be, okay, this could change and break at any point in time. Again, not in a bad way, but it's labs. The name says it all. So that's a new project that you can start checking out. I wonder if this is one way that they're going to look at it, helping speed up workloads in fill in the blank. Any of their container things. So it's called Seekable OCI, or SOCI. I see SOCI, I'm thinking Japanese tea. Is it tea? Or food? I'm not sure which it is.
Something.
Okay. I'm not hungry. I'm really not hungry. I already had breakfast. And lunch. buildg. This was weird to me. A tool to interactively debug Docker files based on BuildKit.
Tool to interactively debug Docker. Okay, what the heck is that?
So here we go. Debug this file. We got a from, a run, a from, a run, a from, a scratch doing the two things. Right? You'd store it and then run that using, I guess, a base image, which is sort of weird to me. I don't understand why. And you walk through and check your breakpoint. You set breakpoints in your Dockerfile.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
No, it makes sense, but I'm going, wow, this is weird.
But I don't recall the time I really needed it, but hey, it makes sense if you need it, I guess.
Yep. It gives you the ability to also set breakpoints within your IDEs. Right? You're setting breakpoints. Very, very strange to me. I'll put it that way. But if you can breakpoint Java,
usually but there is a massive difference. You're breakpointing something in a process that is a process itself, one process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dockerfile is a set of instructions, kind of copy this, move this, delete that. It's essentially a shell script in a way.
Right.
And usually, most of the time, the reason why I said I don't recall I ever needed something like that, because, when you make a mistake and you run a build and it fails, that's usually kind of obvious from the output.
Right. But anyway, you can do this now.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? These next two sort of are related to each other. Have you ever made a change to a config map and expected that config map to actually take effect?
Secret, especially secrets.
Especially secrets.
Because, config map you're changing yourself most of the time. You're making that decision.
Yeah.
Secrets tend to rotate.
Right.
You're connecting it to Hashi Vault or whichever secret store you have, and then secret just changes, right? Because the destination, the source was updated.
Yep.
And then we need something like that.
So here is an operator that will automatically update a deployment when a config map or secret is updated.
Uh-huh.
So let's go here. So at the first deployment, every change happening on the config map will be detected by the operator, and the deployment's template annotation will be updated, effectively triggering a new deployment rollout. So you're watching labels.
That is effectively the automated version of what I was doing before. Just change some label.
Yep.
And apply it so that it picks it up.
Right. So the match appears to be, here's the label on the config map, here's the label on the deployment, and then magically the operator's reconciling those.
Yeah.
So this is one. The second one is reloader. So the problem is you like to watch if some change happens in a config map and or secret, then perform a rolling upgrade on relevant deployment configs, deployments, daemon sets, stateful sets, and rollouts. So this one appears to be a little broader. But again, basically the same thing. Except they're doing annotations instead of labels.
Fair enough. Matter of choice.
Come see, come saw, right?
Yeah.
So
this one also recreating the container or reloading the process.
yeah, this one's actually interesting here, using a comma-separated list to define multiple, in this case, secrets.
Okay.
So there's probably some implementation details that I think this is probably a little bit better. It also supports sealed secrets, if you're still using sealed secrets.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
this one is called, what I call it was a reloader. Reloader, yep. And this one's been around for a long time. Like, a long time. Years.
Yeah. That one I
So-
know from before. The other
Okay.
one, haven't
I think
heard of.
was, let's see. How long has this been around? This has been around for a short time. Not a whole lot of action on it, so. Okay. And last one, Bomber. Bomber. An application that scans SBOMs for security vulnerability. So you're creating SBOMs to prove that you're not vulnerable, but how can I trust that what you produced in the SBOM is actually correct? This is the watchers watching the watchers that are watching.
We're entering into inception mode, right?
Yes.
Who's watching the bomber?
Well, exactly. Nobody. At some point, there has to be origin, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, it supports SPDX, Cyclone DX, and SIFT. Those are sort of the standards that I see everywhere. So, Bomber. In case you're into that. And this is new-ish, a couple of months. But you're scanning an SBOM for a security vulnerability. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I have something else going on in my head. But I do like their org name. DevOps Kung Fu.
Oh, well, heck, I was about to say the other word. Nice, I want that.
Okay, so I'm going to click on this and pray there's nothing bad on the other side of this. Okay. The Mafia. 15 repositories. Let's see what else is there. Bomber, Homebrew, Hinge. Creates and updates your Dependabot config. Hooks. Manage client-side hooks. Gardener. Lucha, a CLI that scans for sensitive data and source code. Okay. Do they have a cool logo? Yes, they do.
There you go. Okay. I want it just because of the name now.
Interesting. Okay. So this may be worth digging in to see what other tools they have here. Okay. Anyway, that is DevOps Kung Fu. Where is it? Yeah, DevOps Kung Fu.
Mafia.
Well,
that's the last time.
but it's not. But it's not in the org though.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they actually have a site. Do we dare?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Okay. Oh, that's it. Nothing. I'm thankful, but also like disappointed at the same time. Your two videos over the past couple of weeks. Metacontroller, number one.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I love Metacontroller. I mean, it has downsides. It's not as good as, other ways to create controllers. But if you want something that can be written in any language, doesn't require deep Kubernetes knowledge and experience, and it can be done in a day instead of for a few hours, or an hour instead of days, weeks, months. That's the solution. Everybody should create their own controllers.
Why would you not create your own controller? What would be the purpose of not creating your own controller?
If you're afraid that automating yourself out of your job is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you're not a person who can entertain yourself with anything but a job, if you don't like watching something on Netflix, and instead you want to do the same thing over and over again.
Okay. Finally, this week's video about Cast AI. Didn't you already do a video about Cast AI before?
I did a video, but this time they introduced the other side of the coin. So Cast AI was focused on scaling, which worked pretty cool, actually. Pretty good, pretty well. And now we have cost reporting. And the big reason for scaling actually is cost. Actually, probably the main reason for scaling is cost. If you remove a cost from the equation of scaling, then you would say, hey, why would I scale in the first place? Why don't I just set up servers for the maximum capacity? So marrying those two makes a lot of sense to me.
Cost management with auto scaling. Unless you're Elon Musk, I'm assuming, you probably have a budget that you have to live within.
Yeah, but he is trying to save by returning rockets instead of throwing them away after a flight.
He's also trying to save $44 billion by not buying Twitter. I wonder if it would be cheaper, completely off topic. I wonder if it would be cheaper to have just gone ahead and bought Twitter for $44 billion versus court costs. I don't know.
Yeah. I forgot about that for a minute. I need to get back into seeing what's going on. Is that any close to be decided?
They're going to court in October, is what I saw.
So we're getting there.
Yeah. The lawyers for the Musk side was denied by the judge on something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
man, I wish I was so rich that I could kind of like get away from commitments that I make without wanting to make them by going to a court.
Well, while we were talking before we'd pressed go live, you were saying you need a bus or a private jet, but a bus would be okay, especially these next couple of months.
Person. With two drivers.
Two drivers.
At the end, yes.
Okay. So, again, to everybody that was here right at the top of the hour, I forgot to push the button. It's me.
He did it.
Well, I didn't.
I saved the day. I'm a hero.
You are the hero because you caught it and told
one.
me. Yeah. Well, you're always the hero. That sounded creepy. So what else is going on? You just actually got back from Hamburg, right?
Yeah, I'll be traveling really kind of a lot. Romania, Serbia, Ireland. That's the one I look forward the most.
Why?
Cuddle. That's kind of intent from David to start future replacement of CNCF KubeCon. Because of getting pissed because of this and all the things that CNCF is doing, and we might or might not agree about. KubeCon is coming. I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going anymore. The only thing I know is that almost everything is in person except the one in Singapore, and that's the one I wanted to be in person the most. So I feel cheated.
Why aren't you going to Singapore?
It's online.
Oh, it's online. Okay. Karen says checklist. Yes, I have checklists. Most of them are actually written down. But this one, I don't have a checklist in front of me.
You need something that's similar to SBOM, kind of like now you need a process that will check whether you're checking your checklist.
What I wish the platform had a way of, I need to be able to set up a macro within this platform. It's like once I start this video, then go live, right? It's just...
This is kind of the feature really missing. And I don't understand how StreamYard and others did not figure it out. Because you already scheduled it in StreamYard to start at a certain time, right?
Correct.
How come the StreamYard doesn't come with a pop-up kind of, hey, do you want to go live?
Yeah.
You said you want to go live.
Yeah.
I did not want to send you live automatically because you're paranoid. Do you want to do it?
Yeah. Like I would have expected, it would have been nice at the top of the hour, in my case it's 1 p.m. Eastern, in the middle of the screen, covering up what you and I see right now. It would be great to have had a window there. It's like, hey, it's your time. Do you still want to go live or not? Because I see that you're in the studio. Like I see that you're here, but you're not live. That would have been nice. I could put in a request for that. Because that seems like a logical thing.
And easy.
Yeah, and it doesn't, and I would not even need to push the button in that window that pops up. Right? I hate pop-ups with passion. But that pop-up would be worth it.
Exactly.
And it wouldn't have to do anything other than say, hey, do you want to go live or not? If so, close me out and then go click on the big red button, you dummy. Right? Because that would be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We'll be back. Are we going to be back next week? Look at your calendar. I was getting ready to say.
You're asking too much now.
Well, we have an AMA on Thursday, so I'm assuming that you knew that you were going to be around at least for that.
I should be. I will be in a hotel, but yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
So yes, my talk is Saturday, so
okay.
Hotel Wi-Fi.
So you're actually home on Thursday, but then you're flying out Thursday?
I'm arriving on Wednesday from one trip, Thursday home, and then Friday another trip.
Another trip. You are a rock star. Except rock stars don't do shows on Wednesdays and Tuesdays.
And I heard that they get paid well when they do a gig.
Some do. Depends.
Yeah, actually, no, I wanna. Average rock star gets paid nothing. Yeah, I don't want to be that. I want to be a successful one.
Here's a question from Roberto. I'm starting my path in DevOps. Any courses you'd recommend?
For me, it's hard to recommend courses because it's been so long that I don't remember anymore kind of what I was reading and doing when I started.
Would Brett's courses on Kubernetes be a good place to start?
Exactly.
Brett Fisher. Just go look him up on YouTube. Or is it brettfisher.com? Do you remember?
Probably.
And that's B-R-E-T, only one T.
I always, just to avoid other Brett Fishers, I always Google Brett Fisher Docker.
Yep, so I'll share this here real quick. This is where you'll land when you go to brettfisher.com. And then he has courses on Kubernetes, Docker for Node.js. If I were you, Roberto, I'd probably look at the Kubernetes one. Well, if you're just getting into DevOps, if you're getting into DevOps, what would you do today?
If I would, to get into DevOps, I mean, getting into DevOps is really, I wouldn't dedicate a course on that.
Yeah.
Because it's really very, very easy. Kind of, in a day, reading the doc of any tool you choose is enough, right? There is not much mystery in it. Kind of Docker has, much more going on for it, Kubernetes, and so on and so forth. So maybe not for GitOps.
Well, I think, and Ari brings up a good point here, isn't something I would start with. I agree with that. So maybe if you're going down the Brett course route, I would start with Docker and understand Docker first, and that will help inform Kubernetes. Because if you can understand containers, then you're just building on top of it at that point.
I think that we spoke about it on one of the podcasts, right? Or maybe we didn't. Anyways, choose kind of like DevOps first. Don't go into trying to figure out how to write code for the first time and how to operate the system for the first time at the same time, right? So I would say developer, or what in the past was called sysadmin. That's the first choice whether you want to make.
I think Ari has a point here. Programming automation containers. That goes back to what you were roughly saying. I wouldn't call it in this order, right?
Except that I would put probably cloud anywhere there in that list, in any order, I don't know. And before anything, on the same level as programming, that would be Linux. Really, that's the key to everything. Maybe you will not even touch Linux ever, but the principles on which Linux is based are propagated everywhere else.
Right. One question here. Let's see if we can answer this quickly. If you use Argo CD to update itself, what source repo do you use?
Typically, I would use the repo where I keep same repo where I would keep the rest of the manifests that constitute the system. Prometheus, for example, or whatever your a repo with everything that is running in that Kubernetes cluster that is not your applications, right? And I'm saying that is not your applications because they have different life cycles, right? So everything but your applications, whichever that repo is, that's where Argo CD should be.
Okay. Let's get out of here. We'll see everybody next week. Monday, you have a video on DevOps Toolkit.
Yes, I do.
Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, we have, or no, we don't have anything Tuesday.
I hope we don't, because I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right. Wednesday's the podcast. Thursday on DevOps Toolkit, that's Victor's channel. We'll have an AMA over there, so you can bring all your questions there. And then Friday.
And this time is anything about everything or something like that.
Right.
So no.
Ask me anything about anything, or ask me anything about everything. I think that was
something
it.
Like that.
Yeah. And then Friday we'll be back again to do sort of the news wrap up for the week. And you can talk about, now you wouldn't have been, you will have already been to one conference at the beginning of the week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we can talk a little bit about
the first
that.
conference that week.
Right. But you're getting ready to go into the second conference, but you'll already be there, but not really there.
Something like that, yes.
Exactly. Okay, everybody. Thanks for being here with us live today. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. And do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, whatever. Those things.
Yeah, we know who you are. We'll find out if you didn't subscribe.
We
No?
don't know.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
That's a pity.
Yeah, it is a pity, but that's okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.